Thank you, Leslie. Before we begin the forum today, I want to remind everybody present that this is a student exercise in order to encourage them to be politically active and to understand the issues which affect them in their community. Let's please be an example to them by being attentive to the candidates and respectful in our dealings with each other. The forum will also have the following format. We will introduce the candidates first for County Tax Assessor, then we will move on to State Representative 77 District, then to State Representative District 75, followed by the candidates for U.S. Representative for District 16. Each candidate will have a 2-minute introduction, followed by 2 minutes or 2 questions from each student here at Burgess High School. The candidates will then have 2 minutes to answer each of those 2 questions, and will then have a 1-minute closing statement. This will be followed by 3 questions selected from the audience with 1 minute to answer each question. Our moderators today are 2 very outstanding senior students from my Advanced Placement U.S. Government class who will ask questions of the candidates written and researched by Burgess students. They are Marissa Mir and Ricardo Cortez. Please come on. We have some timekeepers over here to my left as well, who will be keeping track of the time and letting me know when the candidate's time is up. They are Jantel Alanis and Abigail Eribaldi. So, at this time, I would like for all the candidates for County Tax Assessor or County Tax Collector, please come up to the stage and please come before a microphone. And we will start first with Mr. Victor Flores, the incumbent. Sir, you have a 2-minute introduction.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning. My name is Victor Flores, and I am your County Tax Assessor Collector. I have been your County Tax Assessor Collector for the last 15 years. During my tenure as Tax Assessor Collector, we have taken an antiquated office, a neglected office, and turned it into an office that is now very productive and has been the talk of the state of Texas. I'd like to tell you that during our time, we have implemented many programs that have brought to this community much needed funds. Programs like our Vehicle Registration Abuse Program, which has netted $702,000. Our Vehicle Inventory Tax Program, which has netted $42,359,000. Our Title Runner Program, which has netted $53,000. Our Scofflaw Program with the City of El Paso, which has netted $2,327,000 through collection of fees, fines, and warrants that would not have been collected had we not implemented this program. We've netted $2,932,000 from our county scofflaw program. Again, this program netted this money simply because we refuse to register vehicles that have outstanding warrants or owe fees or fines to this community. Our recovery program, $735,000. Our inspections program, which we just started about 9 months ago, has already netted about $13,000. We have recovered 18 stolen vehicles. We work in conjunction with the Sheriff's Department.
2 minutes is up. Thank you very much, Mr. Flores. We will now turn it over to the moderator. They will ask 2 questions of the candidate, and he'll have 2 minutes to answer each of these questions.
Do I get an introduction? Sorry about that.
We'll allow Mr. Armando Rodriguez to have his 2-minute introduction, and then we will move on to the questions.
Can you all hear me? Here, let me just take this. My name is Armando Rodriguez, and I'm running for your county tax assessor collector. That office belongs to the public and not to the tax assessor collector. I want to make that office more accessible to you all. I don't want to close it at 4:30. The majority of El Pasoans work here, and it's difficult for them to go in that time, so I want to make that more accessible to you all. I want to make sure that the customer service is improved there, eliminating the layers of bureaucracy and expediting the customer's needs, as well as training our individuals with policies and procedures in place, so that way we could enhance the customer service experience. Talked about accessibility, and I want accountability. I think far too long we've had an individual, my opponent in that office, but we've never questioned some of the issues that currently go on in that office. When you question the fact that when asked for an open records request on how part of that office is run, my opponent wanted to charge $500 to myself. What does that tell you about open government? The other issue is when an individual, an administrative assistant, had theft in that office, that individual has not seen the courtroom. I think there's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and that's why I'm running, because I want to give El Paso a choice. They've never had that choice, and I want to provide that choice. A little bit about myself. My story is an El Paso story, similar to many of y'all, or some, but my father passed away when I was 10, and my mom was disabled when I was in high school, and I realized that I needed to grow up and help out the family, and so I've always done that. I've helped out my community. I'm currently the vice president of the Ganadillo School Board. I think we've seen some great stuff in that area, and I want to continue to see great stuff in our county.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rodriguez. Now we will move to the two questions posed to each candidate, and we will start with the question for Mr. Flores.
This is a student question directed to Mr. Flores. After 30 days of residency in the state of Texas, all cars must have Texas license plates. However, we see many cars with non-Texas plates. What are you doing to correct this?
Thank you. Good question. We at the County Tax Office implemented a vehicle registration abuse program. Our vehicle registration abuse program is a program that basically is very successful due to the fact that individuals like you will call our office and let us know about these individuals that are living either next to you, across the street from you, or you know where these individuals are. We implemented this program in 2003, and in our first year of implementing this program, we netted about 34,000 extra registrations. Our program is so successful that this program was had gotten statewide recognition through Austin, Texas. Okay, I'm sure that you've seen the commercial that says "Put Texas in your corner." That program was dubbed out of our vehicle registration abuse program here in El Paso. It was given $5 million to implement this program throughout the state of Texas.
Thank you. This next question is directed to Mr. Rodriguez. Describe specific ways in which you would improve customer accessibility for El Paso's elderly.
I think when talking about my introduction, I talked about the accessibility issue. Going back to the fact that that office does not belong to the county tax assessor collector. That office belongs to you all. That office is to serve the public's needs, which is the license plates and some of the other revenues that it has. But that office should not be closed at 4:30. Why can we not, as a government, provide that more accessible by opening it up to 6, 7, possibly having a split shift within your staff having some individuals, I'm sure some would want to come in at 10 and not at 8, but we open that office to maybe 6 or 7. The unique thing about that office, it's the central location. It's not located in the courthouse, so you have the opportunity to even open that office even on Saturday if you need. So I think it's critical that we look at accessibility and not the needs of the tax assessor collector and, you know, the way he wants to run his office. It's the office of the public. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
This question is directed to both candidates. Mr. Flores, you will answer first. The goal of the El Paso Tax Office is to provide efficient and effective services for the taxpayers. How would you ensure that this goal is met?
Can I read the question? I'm having problem with it. As I said at my opening statement, this office was an office that was very neglected. We have implemented rules and regulations. We have taken people to classes to be updated, to have those what you call classes for conducting themselves in front of the public. We can't do it with everybody at one time. During the period that we've been there, we have sent just about all the supervisors and the clerks that we have to these classes. So certainly we work every day on being efficient. We work every day to be good public servants. As you well know, the public is very, very difficult to work with sometimes, and certainly we have to know how to ease, I guess, the pain on these individuals that come in that are not too happy with the way things are being done. So we do train these people throughout the course of the year. Like I said, we can't get them all in there at the same time, and we have to do it basically one person at a time almost, because you know, the classes that are offered are not offered as often as we wish they could be. Certainly, due to funds, we can try and get people out there as often and as many as we can.
I think there's always room for improvement, and I think one of the issues at another forum, my opponent talked about what would you do differently, and he said he would leave it at the status quo. I think there's always room for efficiency. That's part of my platform, as well as customer service. I think we need to make it more efficient, and I think somehow we need to integrate technology within it. When you're looking at the issue of efficiency and you're looking at certain personal experiences that I've had where individuals go online, and I thank the state for passing the program for the scofflaw where we're able to collect those revenues, but you go online and you're in a long line, you get to the county tax assessor or clerk, and they tell you, you know, you might owe some type of fee or something, then you have to go back and address that issue. Why can't we have that online, and you could actually check it before you go to the county tax assessor collector's office? You're wasting the county's money by just having people go through the line and not collecting that fee, and you're also wasting the individual's money for coming in line and just telling them, hey, you need to go do this. I think there's a lot of ways to improve the efficiencies in that office, and I think that's what we need to look at critically when looking at organizational behavior within that office, as well as the morale that's in that office. I think if we work together and we looked at you know, some of these companies like Southwest Airlines and how they address those issues, I think some of that aspect could be brought into the office. What's critical And what you all might experience is that the private firms might do a better job than the county. And I think we need to address that issue because we should be doing the same and better job at the County Tax Assessor Collector's office.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank the two candidates for County Tax Collector for being here today. We don't have any questions from the audience per se for their particular candidates, but we want to thank you for being here today at Burgess High School. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for the opportunity.